Okay, hello guys, Jack from Peach Guitars here today, and we're continuing our talk on kind of getting in depth with the range from PRS guitars. So today I'm looking at the 509. This is a model that a lot of people don't even know about, but the people who do know about it are perhaps a little bit confused about where it sits in the lineage of PRS's models. And this is a specialty model from them, they term that themselves. So this is something that kind of appeals to a very select group of players perhaps, but I think its appeal is actually a lot wider than they give it credit for. So I just wanted to talk through a few of its features and what makes it up and what makes it such a special guitar, and hopefully it might be something that appeals to you. So the 509 came about a couple of years ago, and it's basically a continuation of where the 513 model left off. Now the 513 at the time was very much the flagship PRS guitar in terms of its flexibility. So that guitar, as its name would suggest, was a guitar with 5 coils, or 3 different pickups made up of 5 coils, and it had 13 available sounds via a 5-way blade switch and a second 3-position switch that basically tapped the humbucking pickups in different ways. And that guitar provided a whole wealth of tonal options to a lot of people. But the 509 takes that concept and simplifies it a little bit more, perhaps in keeping with what other people may recognise as some of PRS's other great switching options. So for example, the 408 guitar, which is another one of their specialty models and still in production now. This is basically a marriage of the 513 and that 408, and what it carries across from the 408 are the 2 mini toggle switches which act as taps for each pickup. So basically you've got the same 5-way blade switch as maybe a Fender style guitar. So for anyone who's familiar with the way a Fender switches, this works exactly the same way in the sense that all the way down position 1 you get your bridge pickup, position 2 is a combination of bridge and middle, the middle position is the middle pickup by itself, position 4 is middle and neck, and then lastly position 5 is the neck pickup. Now what makes this guitar so versatile is the addition of these 2 toggle switches. So we've seen this on a number of different offerings from PRS in recent years, but this is one of the first guitars to kind of carry it on in significant fashion. And as I said, they're respective taps for your neck and neck and bridge pickups. So the one big advantage of this over the 513, in my opinion, is the fact that you can configure this guitar and leave it set up in exactly the way you like. So say for example, as I just did on the intro there, you want your bridge in humbucking mode for your gain tones. Then automatically when you switch up to your neck pickup position, you want it to go to single coil mode. Now a lot of guitars without the facility to individually tap each pickup, and indeed the 513 was a prime case of this example, you'd have to make 2 switches. So you'd have to switch both to your neck pickup and also switch back to single coil mode. With this guitar, you could leave your neck pickup permanently in single coil tapped mode and just flick with 1 switch. So that makes it really functional if you want to leave this guitar set up in a particular way. Now the beauty of this is really a Swiss Army knife style guitar. It doesn't have to be any one particular thing, but in my opinion it does veer a little bit more towards the classic tones that PRS isn't always associated with, but they do very, very well when they do try and implement it into their guitars. So another model this might draw comparison to is their 594 McCarty model. Now whereas that guitar very definitely harks back to the 50s instruments from Gibson, for example, with their particular scale length and the way those humbuckers are voiced in that guitar, this I would say veers a little bit more towards classic Fender tones. And even though this is a PRS and it very much sounds like its own instrument and it's got its very definitive own voice, this is where the lineage of this guitar kind of carries from, I think. So you can get very authentically stratty tones out of your neck pickup. And the bridge pickup, when that's tapped, I think sounds a little bit kind of telly-ish, more so than some of their offerings, some of their other offerings do. So before I go any further and talk about any more specs on this guitar, let me play you a few more examples to show you what I'm talking about. So let me play the bridge pickup, both in humbucking mode, and then I'm going to tap it, just so you can hear the difference in clarity that you get when you do that. And I'm going to stay on the clean channel to demonstrate this too. Okay, so before I continue on with the other pickup selections, I just want to note, as I did in previous videos where I talked about this, how well PRS implement technology to tap their pickups. So unlike a lot of other companies out there that employ coil splits and coil taps on their humbucking pickups, that's always been a thing that I've never personally liked because of the significant loss that you get when you go to a split coil mode. You lose a lot of volume and punch typically. But what PRS do that's really clever, when they tap their pickups, it actually adds a significant number of winds back to that single coil pickup. So as you'll have heard there, when I swapped from the humbucking mode to the tapped mode on the bridge pickup, I didn't lose a lot of volume at all because that single coil pickup suddenly became much more powerful. So there wasn't a significant volume drop at all, which is really useful, and it means that you can legitimately use this as an HSS guitar if you wanted to. You could equally use it as a predominantly 3 single coil guitar, and basically the volume levels are always going to remain consistent and you have that flexibility on the fly. Okay, so talking a little bit more about the genetic makeup of this guitar, this is PRS through and through, of course. You've got a mahogany wood body, a mahogany neck with a rosewood fingerboard, the gorgeous bird inlays, and you've got the same Gen 3 tremolo and Phase 3 locking tuners that most of their models have on board. But the thing that sets this apart a little bit is there's certain characteristics that have carried across from the 513 that were entirely unique to that model, such as the body thickness, the carve on the top. The angle is slightly different to say your custom 24s and 594s and stuff like that. And you also have a unique neck heel profile on this guitar, which is very comfortable, allows a lot easier access to the higher frets in a lot of cases, I think. Even though this is only a 22 fret guitar, it's absolutely a breeze to get right up there and start playing high if you want to. So this guitar is kind of quite unique in the line, but it shares a lot of similarities with other PRS offerings. But as I said before, this is really one of the most flexible guitars they make, and even though it's considered a specialty model, I think it could very much be considered a staple of the modern PRS line too. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with the walkthrough of the different pickup selection options. So I'm going to stay on the clean channel for now, and I'm going to scroll through each of the 5 positions on the blade switch so you can hear bridge through to neck respectively. Okay, so halfway through there, I split both of the pickups into their tapped mode, just so you can hear the 5-way position switch activated in that mode too, and you can hear just how versatile this guitar can be, and yet none of the sounds leapt out as being particularly loud as opposed to the other ones, so it's all consistent across the board. You can get 9 different sounds there, completely independently, and they all sound fantastic and are equally usable. So let me do the same kind of thing with a bit more gain now. I'm going to go to the high gain channel of this Mesa Boogie Triple Crown 50 amplifier. I'm not going to spend time on every pickup configuration, but I am going to kind of switch around just to show you how you can manipulate the tone with a gain sound too. So once again, hopefully that proves just how versatile this guitar can be, getting some cleaner tones and gainier tones without changing the channel on your amp at all. So one last thing I'll comment on is just how easy this kind of guitar is to play. Now obviously most people are familiar with the pattern neck profiles that PRS use on their models. This has the pattern regular neck profile, and it's just one of the most comfortable neck profiles that you'll find on any modern guitar, in my opinion. The other thing that stands this guitar out from the rest of the line is the 25¼ inch scale, which differs ever so slightly from the standard 25-inch scale that PRS usually employ. And as they say in their own words, this kind of adds a little bit of extra sparkle and upper harmonic content to these guitars, which I do think is proven in this case, especially when you're on some of those split coil tones. It's such a small difference technically, but it does make quite a big difference to the way the thing plays and feels and also sounds when you're on those, particularly on those split coil sounds. Okay guys, I hope that sheds a little bit more light on this fantastic 509 model from PRS guitars. If, like me, you're really impressed with the tonal versatility you can get from this guitar and you want to find out even more about it, you can do so by going to peachguitars.com, and you'll be able to see the full list of inventory of these models that we have, as well as see high resolution images of every guitar, being able to see playing examples of every guitar too, and you get current pricing information there as well. Okay guys, so if you've enjoyed this video, as always, please leave us a like and comment down below with your thoughts, and let us know which guitar from PRS you'd like to see featured next in this Closer Look At series. So as always, thanks so much for watching guys, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.